Two social workers on a mission to change the narrative, Millennial Babies podcast seeks to empower others in making changes to maintain their physical, emotional, and mental health. This podcast is about becoming the best version of ourselves. I hope you feel inspired. Join Bria Spencer and Fadia Jean-Pierre bi-weekly as they initiate conversations about mental health, fitness, and travel. Share this with someone who needs it. Follow us on Instagram at millennial_babes_podcast, and let's continue the conversation. Welcome back, everybody, to the Millennial Babes podcast. I am your co-host, Bria, and with me is Fadia. And today's episode is called You. That's it, straight you. Who are you? How do you show up as your most authentic self? And how do you love yourself? Mm-hmm. That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. Just you. How did we come up with this title? It was basically a conversation we're having, and we're like, oh, let's just call it You. So nothing too fancy. It was just a conversation we're having, and it sparked this, and we wanted to be intentional. And we're like, oh, okay. What does it mean to be you? What does it look like? And I hope that you can get something out of this episode and let us know what resonated with you at the end. So Bria, why don't you tell us in the audience, like, what does it mean to be you when you hear that word?
What does it mean to be you for me? I think I'm learning more and more each day, just who I am, as a person. It's definitely these last few years, just, my identity changed. Yes, I'm Bria, but I'm Bria, the wife, and the mom, and, the entrepreneur. And sometimes, we can get lost in that, especially if we're wearing so many hats, and just coming into a place of, in the midst of all of the personal changes that I'm going through, being able to really tap back into the person that I've always been. And sometimes that can get lost when we wear so many other hats, and just how our life changes. And so for me, it's just really not being afraid to speak up for myself, not being afraid to set boundaries and being firm in what those boundaries are for myself, but also being fun. And I love to laugh. I love to dance. I love to go out and spend quality time with friends, and family when I can. And just trying to show up as my most authentic self, even when it can be scary. And that's something that I'm also learning is, it's okay to be vulnerable. Sometimes I think I'm that strong friend. I'm the strong one, I went through, a lot of personal losses, and yes, I've been able to plow through it and be the resilient one, but sometimes I don't want to be that strong one, and there is a vulnerable side to me, and being soft and with myself, and saying that it's okay, to be able to have all these hats, but also know that there is a softer side to me that can be vulnerable, and but also loves to enjoy life all in itself. And I hope I explained that well.
But I like what you said, right? That part of being soft, like being you can be it could be like the titles you're wearing, but it's not so much about the title. Like you said, your mom, you're yourself, sister, wife, or whatever title you're wearing, but the you is what's behind the title, behind that. And what does that look like? And I think you saying, like, being able to be vulnerable, being soft is something we all desire to feel or to experience, and also to fear. Like, and I know we talked about that several times, and I don't think there's any conversation we can have where fear doesn't, kind of sneak its way through the conversation. And for us, it's basically you is you and your authentic you, your authentic self. What does that look like and feel for you? And not what others define you as. Other people can
Yes.
see a lot in you, but you also have to see it in yourself, like when you look at yourself in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Definitely.
so, yeah.
Yeah, and you said something important too. It doesn't rely on how other people perceive. It's more so just how do you show up in the world, even with not wearing a mask. And what I mean by wearing a mask is like I can show up smiling and being happy, but really underneath I'm sad. And you're hiding that from the world. And I've come to learn that no, like it's okay to be able to show that to other people. It's okay to say, hey, I'm struggling right now. I need help. And that doesn't take away from who you are as a person. It's that's just another layer of you. And it can also, even to other people, if they're always seeing you as the strong one and you're asking for help, it gives them that other they see you in another light, like, oh, like you're always strong. But
I think, because I was gonna say, I think also strong, but yeah, it doesn't matter if somebody says you're strong. It's also what strong looks like for you. Right. Strong can be like, yes, I'm strong. I can probably like, take care of myself. But strong is more like I'm managing things that could get out of control for me, or maybe things that are unsettled for me, like my emotions. And so that makes me strong, not strong like, oh, she doesn't, even though she's asking for help, she doesn't really need help because she got this. She's taking care of multiple things. No, it's the strongest. Like I'm able to sit with my vulnerable part and accept myself for who I am, and being able to say, okay, all right, this is what I'm dealing with, and how can I manage it? So the strong is like the softness part of you, and it doesn't have to be like this hard rock strong that people define as what I guess like what a strong is. It just looks different for you and for anyone.
Yeah. But also knowing, like for me too, is like who I am is I'm also sexy. I'm also like, oh girl, you got it. And like, so we recently took a heels class.
I got it. Yes. The
so
heels class was everything.
We took a heels class with our girl, Kimberly Charles. If you're ever in the Stamford, Connecticut area, you guys gotta take her class at her Latin dance studio. So shout out to Kimberly, Fierce and Flirty. But that class, it just brought out like everything who like I was pre-mommy, right? Pre-motherhood, pre-wife, just tapping into just like my sensual side, being able and just loving to dance and doing choreography, but being able to just let loose and be free and confident and feeling also empowered at the same time, and just not worrying what I looked like, what my body looked like. It was just more so like, I feel so good. And this was making me feel strong and sensual. And that's like tapping into like the intimate parts of yourself. And like, that's the whole divine femininity comes into play also. And so for me, that's what defines who I am for myself, and continuing to get back to it and be okay with it. Yeah, but enough about me. What about you?
Well, I think for me, you is something I've been defining. I think the past few years I've been defining, and I think I'm starting to get in the groove of what you is for me. What does you mean for me? And I think someone put it perfectly the other day, and I was like, oh my God, that's exactly how I feel. They had a revelation for themselves, and they said, like, I no longer have to look to a foggy mirror to kind of find me, you. And I was like, oh my God, that's me. You for me, it's me finally standing in front of the mirror and looking at all my flaws, the flaws that people don't like. People was like, I don't like the decision you've been making, and being able to say, you know what, Fadia, let me go back to my past. These are some of the decisions you made for yourself. You thought at that time they were healthy.
Yes.
You thought at that time that was the decision you need to make for you. They define you. I thought that's what made me, like what made me, the you part. But I'm starting to notice that like the things that I thought I was engaging in, like it was like, no, I don't really like it.
Yeah.
I don't really enjoy it because it's not making me feel good inside. It was to make others feel good. Like I was like people pleasing. And that's okay. And that's okay. So now I'm looking at myself in the mirror some days and I'm like, you know what? But these are the things that is making you right now. You're defining it for yourself. So you for me is being able to be vulnerable in my truth. And I think also being me also create this connection with others. Like, where do I fit in? I'm not putting myself in a box, but it's like, where do I fit in? I think it also limit myself because sometimes it's like, is it because I see the world maybe a little bit different? And sometimes I think I'm guilty of this. I will have conversations in my head and I play whole scenarios and I be in my head all the time. But for me, you is just being able like, am I in love with the parts of myself? So if someone else were to come into my life, will they fall in love with that parts of myself, even if they're not like this perfect picture, right? So I'm starting to learn. I've been on a journey of learning to love myself, the part of me that were not accepted by others. And why weren't they accepted is because I wasn't accepting it myself. And I was like you said, I was wearing a mask to make others like me, to make other people want to be around me. And so I am patiently right now, I'm in a space where I'm patiently crafting and nurturing that part of me, that love within me, so that I can be me. So when you talk about doing that class, at first I was just like, no, I shouldn't be, connecting with myself like that. But I'm like, what am I doing so wrong? And when I was like, I feel so good. It's for me. I love to dance. It's okay. I love to work out. I love to do poetry. I don't need to do it any other way. But that's me. That's the part of me that I like. And I think and because I'm laughing, I'm like, I feel comfortable. I'm not scared in that moment. And the you part for me is like, I'm starting to challenge those fears. I have days where it's like, oh, I don't know if I should do this. Oh, that's going to make somebody uncomfortable. Why? They don't care how they show up in my space, in my life. So why should I? Yes, we need to be mindful, but at the same time, it's like, why should I change who I am, my character, to fit something else? Not saying it's wrong. It's nothing wrong. It's just that, like, am I actually being my true, authentic self? Because I think other individuals can see something in me and they're like, why are you not showing that part of you? And I'm like, well, I don't know if he'll be accepted. But then they're right. It's like, why do you need someone else accepted? So I need to be in alignment with myself, because if I am not in alignment with myself, then alignment with others is going to be challenging. So I think for me, that's the you part. But when we did the dance class, girl, I was just like, hey, I was moving the legs. I was like, okay, Kimberly got me like coming out of my shell, right? And I felt like a woman.
Yes.
That night, I felt like a woman. I was like, no, like, this is what I should feel like. I shouldn't worry about how I look. I shouldn't worry about it, because it made me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So like, that's the you for me, is like loving my flaws, accepting what they are, and looking in the mirror and say, like, it's okay. If you don't like it, you can change it. If it doesn't make you feel good, what makes you feel good? What do you need to craft? What do you need to nurture?
And that's
that's
the hardest thing. You said a lot of things, that I kind of want to touch on, and flaws, right? That's so hard to accept, just even for yourself, that you have flaws. Because in our minds, we want to think that, no, there's nothing wrong with that. It's like, not to say that we're perfect, but this is who I am. But when you accept your flaws, it also comes with a level of accountability. And then you start to think about, okay, of certain situations, like how did you show up in those past situations? And then it makes you think, okay, this is room for improvement. How can I work on the things that may have impacted someone else and I didn't see it at the time? Isn't to say that I'm a bad person. This just means that, no, I'm starting to shift my perspective. And now
Yes.
I'm in a space of, okay, like I can grow. And now I'm healing because now I'm starting to really see who I am. And I accepted that. And now I can move forward. And in that journey, that's where you have to also try and be gentle with yourself, because it like I said, it's not easy to recognize those dark parts, but that's essentially who we are and what makes us us. That's our in our soul. It's our we have a dark side and we have a good side, and it's a matter of
I wouldn't even say dark or good side. I think it's that's who you are.
Yeah. But I'm not saying okay. So I'm not saying it in a way where it's just like dark or like good, bad, good angel, bad angel. I'm just saying more so in a way where we have flaws, right? And when we're in a space of where we want to work on ourselves, on our healing journey, it's called shadow work. And so there's going to be a side of you where either if it was trauma from your past, any inner child wounds, those are the sides that have to come to cultivate and nurture, because it's also the essence of who you are, and you merge the two. That's who you are, and you begin to pour love into yourself, like you said, crafting those different parts of yourself and nurturing it. And essentially you show up as your most authentic self, and things start to be in alignment. And sometimes alignment looks like falling out of place with people, places, or things as you continue.
Or just with yourself too.
Or even with yourself. And that all calls for just it's growth at the end of the day. And it's perfectly fine.
And I like what you just said, that I think for me, it wasn't so much I fell out of alignment with other people. I think I needed to fall out of alignment with myself. It looked like I was falling out of alignment with others, but it wasn't with others. I needed to go through a moment where things were so challenging. And I think at some point I was blaming other people. I was like, well, they're the reason why this is happening to me. No, this is the reason. Sometimes the reason it's happening to you is because your decision, because of how you view yourself. Because I think something that's been coming up is worthy, right? I'm worthy of joy, right? I'm worthy of love. I'm worthy of just pure happiness, whatever it looks like for me. And so I think I've been falling out of alignment with myself. And right now that's the part I'm crafting. That's the part I'm nurturing. I'm realigning with me. And so the you part for me is like, it took me back to my younger days. And I saw a picture of me and my mother the other day. And I was just like, I was so carefree when I was little. I was on my back. I was just riding my bike. But I was like, I was always my own person. I was always my own little world. So I think it was always like, you can never follow the rules. I don't follow. I'm sorry. I'm a Scorpio. And when you have to like tell me I have to follow the rules, I can. It's not about being in control. It's just that I'm my own person. Yeah. If I feel like I'm being caged in, you're not going to get the best part of me. And it's not going to be healthy. And so I need to be in alignment with myself. I need to be comfortable with myself. I need to feel good so that you can get the best part of me, because sometimes I'm just here. Yeah. Joy for me is like, that's joy, right? Joy for me and is fighting me. And my you is, I love poetry. I write poetry. Sometimes I share, sometimes I don't share. Yeah. I love to play soccer. I'm not professional, but I do it. I love, all types of different sports. I play basketball, I play soccer, you'll find me like the moment you're like, Fadi, okay, you're dancing. The next thing you're playing soccer, you're exercising. The next thing you want to, but that's because that's just me. I have a variety of lights. So when I travel, I want to explore all of that because I'm like, I just have this ball of energy and it's like, I want to know who I am. And so I love it when other people are intrigued or maybe interest in that. I'm willing to let you into that part. So yeah, I'm nurturing alignments. I'm crafting that and I'm loving so far what it looks like. Some days is definitely ugly because I'm like, oh, I don't like you today. I'll tell that to myself, like, I don't like you today. Let's fix that. No, we're not having that today. Let's get that together. Let's get yourself together.
Yeah. And it's because you've been saying of falling out of alignment with myself. And it made me think, is it falling out of alignment with yourself or is it falling out of alignment with old beliefs? And are these old beliefs that we've had, that we've thought about, that we've held on to, that's constructed how we showed up in the world today and even in our relationships and work. And it's like, that's for me, that's what's falling away, are these old beliefs that were subconsciously that I grew up with and who that became ingrained in me. And so now as things are shifting in my life, it's making the active choice to see things in a different perspective and be like, wow, like I don't want to hold on to these certain beliefs or values and then being able to just
but I don't think
tap back.
I was gonna say I don't think they're bad though.
No. I'm not saying that they're bad.
No, I don't think they're bad.
No, definitely, it's definitely not bad. I think it's a part of who you are. It's a part of just learning and growing.
Yeah, because I think those beliefs got the people before us, like our ancestors or family or whoever, it got them to where they are. I think with time changing and with the way the world is changing and how we view things, I think we have to say, okay, how does these beliefs fit for me right now? What do they look like for me? Because it seems like it's looking different. Like I know sometimes I'll ask my aunt, I'm like, I remember when I was younger and I was around her, I was like, things look different from the time I was growing up because I'm like, I admire her relationship. So it's like, because I admire her relationship, I desire that, right? I desire the long-term relationship, I want to have healthy relationships. I want to feel love. I want to give love. I want to have, beautiful, healthy friendships, all of that. And so I think it's like, when I'm having these conversations with her, or even with you, it's like, how do they fit now? And how do I want to cultivate them? Maybe it worked for you and this person a few years ago, but it looks different now. So do I still have that belief or how do I connect with it? Or maybe I'm not connecting and I need to figure something else out. Who knows? But I think that's kind of like, I think I agree with what you're saying. I think that's interesting that you brought that up. Like, is it the belief or is it yourself you're not getting alignment with, or is it the belief? I think that's like something to think about because it's all part of like the you. And I think the person that can give us a great definition of you is children's.
Yes.
They are like the perfect you. Because look at us, we're sitting here having this conversation and we're talking about belief, morals, all these things. Like, look at a child.
So carefree.
They're showing you.
That's and it's so true. If you can think back to when you were a child, like maybe like when you were 5 years old, how carefree you are at that age. That is your most authentic self. And I remember, even when I look at my daughter now, she's 5.5. And I remember being like that, dancing, singing, flipping around, just laughing. She's so sweet, has a big heart. And I'm like, that is me. Like, that's how I how I was when I was little. I'm like, but that's still how I am. And so I find myself now like just playing some music in the house and I'll just start dancing. And I was like, oh, I miss this. Like, I can't remember the last time I did this where it's just, you want to drop it down low, get a little twerk on, and a little two-step, like, ooh, and it feels good.
Yes. I mean, think about it. That episode that we did with Dr. Rennes, like she was doing like the, when she put that compound music, like we did the episode with the dance mental health. That's what if that's what makes you, then that's what makes you. Who cares? And it's so interesting because sometimes when I'm around my family, I'm just like, I'm just gonna chill. Like, no, Fadi, come here and dance because they know I love dancing. Yeah. And the one thing that not a lot of people know about me is when I was little, I used to do karate. I'm like, they used to call me a monkey because I used to want to climb trees. I wanted to like do karate. So then like they will call me like, karate and stuff like that. Like, Fadia, like, show me something. And I was just like, that was so long time ago. But that's what made me me. Yeah. And they're like, do you still climb trees? I'm like, yeah. Like, just don't let me find one. That's just me. Because I remember growing up with my grandmother and in Haiti, in our countryside, we had this huge tree behind our house, and I would literally climb. It was a mandarin tree. I would literally climb up and just sit there, and I just loved the sound. And I will like watch the birds. And I remember me and my cousin, we used to like try to catch the bird, kill them. One day we did, and we like, yes, we grabbed one, cooked it all up, eat it. It was so good. But the beauty of it is that, but the beauty of it was that I was just like carefree. I was just like, they just let me run around and just, I was able to be me without any judgment, any like, oh, you shouldn't be like this. You shouldn't be doing that. So it's like, now why do I feel like, I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, I want to dance, but I don't know if I should. Like, no, like, just get up and do it. Oh, I like doing poetry, but I don't want to put listen, just get up and do it. Like, it's okay. So whatever you was when you were little, she's inside of you. I mean, she's inside of me. And I think she's coming out. She's showing me how to enjoy life. She's showing me how to be free and stop judging myself. It's not even like people judging me. It's like me. I'm the worst critic ever of myself. All our worst. And I gotta stop that.
Yeah, I think, and that's the most important thing, is to always hold on to that part of yourself that you felt as a child. Like, no matter how old you are, what experiences you have in life, hold on to that and continue to go back to that, because that's truly what living feels like, to be able to just be completely like yourself and unmasked and not have to feel like you have to people please. And that's where the more confidence and the empowerment comes as well. Like, you can walk into a room and not have to feel like you have to code switch or fix your posture and be in a certain way and to fit in a certain population or community, because people will accept you as you are once you accept yourself as you are and own it. And I
have a question for you.
Ooh, yes.
But after you finish, I have a question for you, but go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, because I was going to go a whole other place. So what's this question?
Okay. Maybe after the question, we can go a whole nother place. So as we're talking about being you and with everything that you're saying, what came up in my mind was that, like, what do you think you need to do for you to nurture that you? Basically holding yourself accountable to be you.
Oh my goodness.
Because I know when we were talking about this topic, when I said that question to you, you were like, wait, what? What does that mean? Like, it made us reflect and think about it. So
I'm still like,
like, what can you do?
I think for me is, wow, I used to be so fearless. Like, whatever I had a vision or a goal, like, I just did it. Like, I just went after it. And I feel like I lost some of that. And I'm like, no, like that used to be like, that was me. Like I would just go after it. I would do anything and anything, everything possible. And there was passion and drive behind it. And so wanting to get back to that, and that goes with just letting go completely and trusting. So letting go and trusting. Huh?
I was gonna say, should we make a commitment here?
Oh, you know what? Let's make a commitment.
Because I mean,
so our
we do hold each
audience,
other accountable, and I think
listen, now our audience can hold us accountable. Whoever is watching,
I don't know if I don't know. See, now you putting I don't know if I want them to hold me accountable, because I gotta make sure I'm me, right? No, because I no, seriously, as you were talking about that, because what it made me think about is like, you, like you said, you used to be so fearless. Like, what's keeping you from being so fearless? And if something is keeping you from being so fearless, and that's what you desire and want, make a commitment for yourself.
Yeah.
Like, identify commitment to be fearless, to challenge that part, because honestly, fear is like, think of it of like, it's a fog, like it's fogging you, right? It's like it's coming and it's blinding you from seeing your truest self. And for me, like when I wake up in the morning, I have like a big mirror in front of my bed, and I just get up and I look at it. And I'm like, no, get up. You're gonna do this today. You need to know. You can't make a commitment and not follow through. So it's like holding yourself accountable. Because when we talked about the topic, the you has been sticking with me. Because the other thing that's been coming for myself is, what is the vision you have for your life?
Yes.
But that requires me to understand who I am and who is me and who do I want to cultivate, regardless of, where it goes. It's an opportunity for me to learn, because others are seeing like I was a certain way, and then I closed off. They're like, no, don't do that, because they can see like I can isolate, and they're like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
So I think like it's important to make that, like, maybe we don't have to make the commitment right now, but I think, I think we owe it to ourselves to be us.
Yeah. No, I agree. And it also made me think too, like when you see the vision and you know and feel that it can be big and successful, that's when the fear, it's like the fear trickles in, like, oh shit, excuse me, guys. It's like, oh, like I know that if I did X, Y, and Z, that's the life that I would have. And sometimes they say, I think that it's like the saying, like if it's too scary, then you know it's right. And so I think, and that's where it's just this trust and letting go, but also just making sure it's fun along the way also.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think for me, the commitment would be like, have fun with me. That's how I'm gonna know what makes me me. Yeah. What you is for me. It's just fun.
Are you having fun?
And I think
it's passionate to you. Like, how does it make you feel? Does it make you
like that dance class
moving?
Like, yes, like I just activating that energy inside of you. And as we're talking about activating that energy inside of it, we are going to present at the Millennial Social Conference next month, because as we're talking about you, we are activating our divine feminine, and that's what it's all about, right? The conversation is, you have this ball of energy inside of you. Why are you like put it in a box, and why you're not activating that part of you so you can be your authentic self?
Yeah, and so how that ties into your mental health and your mental wellness, because if you are always, crowded and just in your head, and you're keeping everything inside of you, sometimes that can bring depression or an anxiety. So we're going to be talking about, how can you be soft with yourself and walk in your divine feminine, but also ensure that your mind, body, and soul are all well balanced. And it's going to be a good time, y'all.
I know. Shout out. So let's send a shout out to Millennial Social Conference. It's a great organization in Atlanta. This is where all the mental health social workers, licensed mental health, like if you are in the social work field and you want to find a network of individuals where you want to learn and you get CEUs. So if you are social workers, you are in the mental health field. So please check out Millennial Social Work Conference. They're on IG and register for for their event, which will be held on March, 4th to the 5th? Yeah, March 4th, 5th. And registration is going to be, the last day for registration is February 21st. So check it out because we're going to be activating our energy while we're activating others' energy. So join us because right now I feel good. Like I want to dance. I want to dance. All right. So we're going to end our episode. Wait, before we end, did you have anything else you want to chiming into this about being us, being you? Because I feel like I can go on forever.
I feel like I can go on too, but
should we do a part 2?
We should do a part 2.
I think we should do a part 2.
Maybe you know what? What do you guys think about this? You let us know, drop a comment, doing a part 2 on being you and how that shows up in your dating life and relationships. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I heard was that even when you're in your singleness, enjoy it and be happy, right? But also don't be afraid to wait until someone comes along to compliment who you are.
You
can continue to be yourself, your most authentic self, and they're just coming along to compliment it and give you what you deserve. So you let
compliment
us know.
Your own you.
Yes,
I like that.
You let us know how do you guys feel about that topic, and maybe we'll have a part 2.
No, we are gonna have a part 2. Not even maybe. We are gonna have a part 2. All right. Well, let's end with our affirmation for the week. So, Bria, my dear, can you pick a number? The first number that pops up in your head.
3.
Oh my God, what was the 3? I was ready to count. All right, let me shuffle these cards a little bit for you. Hold on. All right, guys, so 3. All right.
The third card. Let's
okay. This is what came up. I have here our affirmation for the week is I am compassionate. Compassionate. Am I saying it right? I feel like sometimes that's what happens when you speak French. I understand how important it is to have compassion and not just for others, but for myself as well. Ooh, look at that. And we're talking about being you.
Mm-hmm.
I forgive myself for the times I may have let myself down. I forgive others for the same. I realize that, like me, everyone is doing the best they know with the tools they have. I am compassionate.
Yes.
That is not alignment. I don't.
That is alignment, honey. Yeah.
Well, that is our affirmation for the week, guys. And I hope that you can cultivate it for yourself and craft who you are, nurture who you are. And I hope this episode, resonate with you and you were able to get something. Because I know me and Bria, we definitely, got something out of it, especially when we were talking about it and trying to figure out how we wanted to, bring this to you guys, because it definitely made us think about ourselves. And we want to be intentional about what we share with you guys. And so thank you for listening and check us out on IG at Millennial_babes_podcast. And please reach out to us to be a guest or just to, let us know what kind of topic you want us to discuss, or if you, it's whatever you want to see. So send us an email at millennialbabespodcast, right? millennialbabespodcast@gmail.com.